Why does the maid always sit on the pot after cooking? Find out in this amazing story. Have you washed my pants? Have you mopped every room, including the corners, or did your village laziness follow you here? Have you finished all the house chores, or are you saving your strength to seduce my husband? Mrs. Evelyn Okafor spat the words like poison. Her voice echoed through the wide Abuja mansion. A house so big, yet so cold. A house that looked beautiful from the outside, but breathed hatred within. Marble floors reflected wealth, but they also reflected cruelty. She stood tall in silk and gold, smelling of expensive perfume and pride, while the girl before her stood small, barefoot, shaking, her hands wrought from endless work. "Look at you," Mrs. Okafor continued, her eyes burning with jealousy and rage. "I picked you up from that dustbin you call a village. You were nothing, dirty, hungry. I cleaned you up, dressed you, gave you a roof. And now you think you can enter my house and turn into a snake?" The girl's name was Chika. She did not answer. She had learned that silence hurt less than words. Her chest felt tight, like an invisible hand was squeezing her heart slowly, patiently, reminding her every second that she did not belong. You don't want to miss part 2. Chika had no parents, no siblings, no inheritance, only memories of hunger, cold nights, and crying alone in her father's mud hut after her parents died and the world forgot her. When her late mother's sister told her about a wealthy politician in Abuja who needed a housemaid, Chika felt hope for the first time in years. "You will be safe," the woman promised. "You will eat well. You will be treated like a human being." That was all Chika wanted, to be treated like a human being. Mr. Victor Okafor was 50 years old, loud, influential, and powerful. His bald head shone under expensive lights, his round stomach rested proudly under flowing agbada, and his voice carried authority wherever he went. Men respected him, women admired him. He lived a life of control. His wife, however, had abandoned warmth long ago. She no longer cooked, no longer cleaned, no longer cared. Her days were filled with shopping sprees, luxury vacations, designer bags, salon visits, and endless gossip with other influential Abuja women who lived off their husbands' money and mocked those beneath them. When Chika arrived, she walked like survival depended on it, because it did. She cleaned until her back burned, cooked until her fingers blistered, and slept with pain deep in her bones. She moved through the house quietly, carefully, trying not to offend anyone. At first, Mrs. Okafor smiled, but when her husband noticed how hardworking Chika was, that smile died. "Chika is very hardworking," Mr. Okafor said casually one evening, removing his cap as he settled into the dining chair. "This house feels alive again. And this food," he smiled faintly. "I haven't eaten like this in years." The spoon froze in Mrs. Evelyn Okafor's hand. Her smile stayed on her face, but something ugly cracked behind her eyes. From that day, Chika stopped being a maid. She became a problem. "Did I ask you to cook this?" Mrs. Okafor snapped one morning, flinging the pot cover open. "Or are you trying to announce yourself to my husband?" Chika trembled. I was just following the recipe you gave me, madam." "Shut up!" The slap came fast, loud, echoing off the marble walls. "You think I don't know your type?" Mrs. Okafor hissed. "Small village rat with pointed breasts and hungry eyes. You people come to the city pretending to be innocent, but your womb is already open for stealing husbands." She leaned closer, her perfume choking. "If I catch you smiling at my husband again, I will shave your head and send you back to your village naked. Do you hear me?" Ironically, the husband she accused Chika of seducing was the same man she had emotionally abandoned for years, denying him food, care, warmth, or affection. At night, Chika cried quietly, pressing her face into her thin mattress so no one would hear, her spirit slowly cracking, piece by piece. That was when Chioma noticed her. Chioma walked in a nearby compound, sharp-tongued, stylish, eyes always calculating. Do you want to die poor and broken, or do you want to fight back? I don't have anywhere else to go, Chika whispered. Chioma leaned closer. There are ways to settle small matters like this. Stop suffering for someone who enjoys your pain. Chika's heart raced. I'm scared. Pain makes you brave, Chioma replied. Tomorrow, I'll take you somewhere to see someone. That night, Chika did not sleep. For the first time, her fear was mixed with hope. Chioma took Chika far away, beyond the comfort of the city, to a remote settlement on the outskirts of Abuja. The native doctor was not just a man hiding in the bush. He was known, feared, respected. People traveled long distances to see him. He listened without interrupting, his eyes heavy with secrets older than the land. Then he handed Chika a small bottle filled with dark, oily liquid. This is not ordinary medicine, he warned. Drink a little every day. After cooking, sit on the pot. As long as you do this, their will bend to yours. But the day you stop drinking the liquid and stop sitting on the pot, the charm dies. Pain made Chika brave. The next day, after cooking, her heart beat violently. She looked left, she looked right. Fear burned through her veins. Then she remembered hunger, insults, tears soaked into thin mattresses. She climbed onto the table, lifted the pot cover, and sat on it. Something cold brushed her skin, like a breath from another world. When the Okafors ate that food, the house changed. Mr. Okafor could no longer look away from Chika. His eyes followed her movement. His voice softened when he spoke to her. He began to transfer money into her account weekly, then daily. He bought her new phones, expensive wigs, gold jewelry, designer clothes. He rented a small apartment in town just in case she needed space. He paid for her future, her schooling, her protection. When she spoke, he listened. When she asked, he obeyed. When she was silent, he worried. And Mrs. Evelyn Okafor watched her kingdom collapse. One morning, she found herself washing plates while Chika sat down. Another day, she scrubbed the bathroom floor, her knees shaking. Why am I doing this? She whispered to herself, staring at her reflection in the mirror. This girl is a maid, a nobody, so why can't I talk back? She opened her mouth to insult Chika, but the words refused to come out. Her chest tightened, her tongue felt heavy, her body moved before her mind could resist. Mrs. Evelyn, the sitting room is still dirty, Chika said calmly. Mrs. Okafor froze. Her hands trembled. Why can't I disobey her? She whispered later, alone in the room. Why does my body obey before my pride? Tears rolled down her face as she picked up the mop again. Chika watched, and slowly, power poisoned her heart. She began to speak boldly. She corrected Mrs. Okafor sharply. She reminded her of unfinished chores. She enjoyed the silence, the bowed head, the obedience. Each command felt like repayment for every insult, every slap, every night hunger kept her awake. But Chika did not yet know one truth. Power borrowed from darkness always comes back to collect its debt. Chika did not know that the dark liquid she drank every day was never meant to give her real power. It was slowly destroying her. The native doctor never lied, but he never told her the full truth. The power was not free. Every time she drank the liquid and sat on the pot, it took something from her in return. Her peace, her strength, and slowly, her mind. When the charm finally broke, it didn't end quietly. One morning, Chika collapsed, screaming at things nobody else could see. She talked to shadows, begged voices that weren't there, and cried until her body became weak. Doctors could not find any sickness. Her body was fine, but her mind was broken. She was taken to a psychiatric hospital. Most days, she sat quietly, staring into space, sometimes whispering Chioma's name as if she was still there. Mrs. Evelyn Okafor survived, but she never forgot what happened, and neither should we. This story is not teaching revenge. It is not encouraging dark choices. It is a warning. A warning to people who treat others without kindness, especially madams who forget that housemates are human beings, not property, not tools, and not objects to release anger on. Cruelty creates desperation. Desperation looks for a way out, and sometimes it meets the wrong person. Many housemaids are young, afraid, and helpless. They may not know what to do, but all it takes is meeting someone like Chioma, someone who introduces them to the wrong solution, and things can end badly. Some madams have learnt this too late, losing their peace, their homes, and in some cases, their lives. Kindness costs nothing. Cruelty costs everything. Because when you break a person for too long, you may not like who they become just to survive. The end.